Three Demons, Book 2, Chapter 26. A Beautiful Butterfly. Braun stands there, his grip tight on Kitsune's skull as he continues to squeeze, so tight that it looks like he's trying to pop her head like a balloon. Kitsune's whimpers silently bounce off the ruined walls around them. Joseph and the others arrive at the scene, and his eyes widen, before he quickly takes action and snatches Kitsune away from Braun's grip. He held her in his arms as he looked down at her weak body. His eyes began losing emotions the more he looked at her. He quickly vanished from thin air before appearing in front of Yanel, Asuka, and Valak, placing Kitsune's body down in front of them before he vanishes again, this time appearing in front of Ava. Asuka quickly goes to check on Kitsune, visibly worried for her friend. She begins to heal her. Yanel goes to do the same, but her eyes widen. Her heart rate is slowing down. Yanel quickly joined Asuka in healing her before Kitsune grabbed Yanel's arm. Don't tell him. Yanel's eyes widened as Kitsune fell into unconsciousness. Joseph stood before Ava as he laid there, blood pouring from her mouth slowly. Joseph kneeled down before her and gently pried her mouth open, seeing most of her tongue gone. Like Kitsune, Joseph grabs Ava and carries her over quickly to the others. Take them and leave. Now. Joseph demanded, his voice not carrying any emotions with it. A bead of sweat drops from Yanel's head. The tension radiating off of Joseph is that of evil. She becomes too scared to even speak to him. Yanel even goes as far as to stop Asuka from arguing with him, the look on her face being enough to convince Asuka to listen to him. Asuka and Yanel grab and carry Ava and Kitsune away from the small opening where they had presided. Valak sits there staring at Joseph, puzzled and curious about what is going on and what is about to happen. Yanel calls out to Valak to come follow them quickly. Valak does what he is told, but not before getting another quick glance at Joseph. Braun smirked at Joseph pridefully. Were those two broads yours? Let me say how disappointing they were. Hopefully you'll bring me more entertainment than they did. Joseph then began smiling sinisterly. Oh? I can promise it would be a lot of fun. Before Braun could say anything, Joseph appeared in front of him and jabbed him in the abdomen. It was so fast that Braun didn't even see the jab being thrown. Despite that, he quickly drops to his knees, vomiting up blood as Joseph stands there smiling at his pain. Braun tries to speak, but every time he makes the attempt, more blood is forced from his mouth, making it clear Joseph had ruptured something within his body from the jab he threw. Joseph then grabs Braun by his skull, something akin to what he did to Kitsune as he squeezes his skull so hard his ears, nose, and eyes begin slowly pouring blood from them. The color of Braun's eyes begin to slowly change from white to red as the blood stains them. Joseph then starts ramming his knee into Braun's face, his face becoming disfigured from the continuous pummeling, his nose splintering in different directions, teeth falling from his mouth and dents forming into his skull visible enough from his face. Joseph pauses to laugh maniacally, finding pleasure in Braun's suffering. He lets him go before walking behind him. Joseph then digs his right hand into Braun's back, his fingers digging deep into him as blood spurts from his back onto Joseph's face, to which Joseph licks off most of what he can reach, that smile still plastered across his face. The sound of screaming can be heard around them as Braun is helpless to defend himself as Joseph continues to dig deep enough to grab onto the back of Braun's ribcage. Joseph then pulls upward as the sound of pulling and snapping can be heard, the ribcage being pulled so hard that as Joseph gets closer to what's left of Braun's skin on his back, the ribcage is visible, until the skin snaps as Joseph breaks the ribcage for it to stand upward. Braun's lung is then visible. His breathing is there for all to see as it quickly inflates and then deflates, his breathing rapid due to all the pain he is currently suffering from. Joseph then proceeds to do the same for the other half of the ribcage, but this time he digs his hands underneath the opening in Braun's back. The sounds coming from it are as if something are being squished. Joseph then grabs the other half of the ribcage and pulls it out much more quickly, Braun's skin torn to ribbons as blood pours from his back. Joseph then kneels down, placing his open hands downward on the ruined floor as two wooden pillars appear from the ground, each having rope with hooks attached to them. Joseph grabs Braun and begins tying him up by his throat and wrists, standing him up for all to see. It's gotten to the point where Braun can no longer scream. He doesn't have the energy for it anymore. He's accepted his eternal torment. Joseph then grabs the rope with hooks on them as he attaches the hooks to the snapped-in-half ribcage of Braun, the hooks pulling on the ribcage as Braun is just left standing there, his open back left for the world to see, and his ribcage making him look like he has wings. Joseph walks in front of Braun and pats him on the face. "You are as beautiful as a butterfly. I just hope you don't expect death anytime, though." Joseph tells Braun as he walks away laughing hysterically, leaving Braun there to suffer for eternity. End of chapter 26.